being faced with all of the issues that we have right now, locally and also internationally, we've seen Philippine stocks get battered. We've seen it massively go down. I want to say this. Number one, no one has a crystal ball to know if we've already hit the bottom or if there's even a larger set of decline that may actually happen. There's still a narrative that we could see interest rates continue to go up in the US markets because they still have not dealt with the problem of inflation. Hey guys, so I'm off to my daily walk with little Satoshi. She's right over here. For some reason, she only sleeps with me if she's in a carrier. She can't sleep anywhere, and if I put her down, cries and she doesn't sleep. So try to spend days like this where I just walk. Right now, I wanted to share a couple of things about the market, especially for those who are tracking the Philippine market. And please do note this, I think this would apply even for US markets and even for the crypto markets as well. Because if you notice it, at this point in 2022, it's not just the Philippine stock market that's down, but it's every market from crypto to the US market, or at least the markets that I'm currently tracking. I want to say this to everyone. This is pretty much predicated on whatever downward movement we're seeing. It's pretty much predicated on inflation, the Fed raising rates, there's no quantitative easing, the war in Ukraine, what's happening in terms of logistics as well, and of course, we're still not detached yet from COVID. But what's interesting also right now is that tourism starting to pick up. We're seeing a lot of people traveling, revenge traveling for that matter. But above and beyond that also, we're seeing now the full effects already of how the economy is starting to shape up and reopen as compared to how it was during the times when COVID was very, very prevalent. What's interesting about that is we saw a drop in March 2020 followed by a rally, but that rally, at least for Philippine markets, didn't bring it back to its all-time high. For US markets, it went even higher than its all-time high. For crypto markets also, we've seen it move and push up massively. But for the Philippine stock market, it didn't. Now that being said, being faced with all of the issues that we have right now, locally and also internationally, we've seen Philippine stocks get battered. We've seen it massively go down. I want to say this. Number one, no one has a crystal ball to know if we've already hit the bottom or if there's even a larger set of decline that may actually happen. There's still a narrative that we could see interest rates continue to go up in the US markets because they still have not dealt with the problem of inflation. Their latest disclosure, CPI, their consumer price index, was very, very, very high. And for those who are tracking inflation, you all know that we watch the CPI also because it has a very, very, very strong impact on how inflation would go. Now, that being said, if inflation continues to go higher, there's an expectation that rates would still go up. And if rates would still go up, that's negative for US stocks. That's also negative for Philippine stocks as well. It would push smart money, volatile assets, riskier assets like the stock market, into fixed income securities like US Treasuries. And also in the same way as the US market or rates of US Treasuries would go up, the Philippines will also have to follow suit in order to stay within the curve or to follow the curve. And when they try to do that also, the biggest underlying condition is rates go up. Not very good for the markets over the short term, primarily because people will be going to the free money that they could get from interest rates. However, I want to say this, that as I started to look at certain stocks also, everything is battered. A lot of the stocks that we like are down. You could see Ayala Corporation massively down. You could see Ayala Land down also. You could see whatever gains that Globe had, the massive move that it did last year, it's back close to the 2000 levels. And if you look at it and you try to structure your investments, you go for stocks that give you dividends. You go for stocks that could give you cash flow. But even REITs right now, the dividend yield that you would get for them is relatively higher already because they have gone down a lot. A REIT, you see it somewhere around the 30 peso mark. MREIT below also its IPO price. You see that also for RCR, you see that for PhilREIT and other stocks that provide good dividends. Regardless if your style is capital appreciation or if you're trying to look for long-term growth, a lot of the stocks that are good, a lot of the stocks that are fundamentally sound are relatively cheaper, are battered also right now. So we are at the point right now also where there's uncertainty. We are at the point right now where economic news is not as good. However, if your timeline is long, and I've been saying this all the time, that when there's blood in the streets, get assets that are cheaper that no one else wants to buy. However, the risk that you're trying to put in there is that it still could go lower Number two, you don't know until when it will actually reverse. If you are a long-term investor, you could manage the volatility. There's no disruption with your cash flow, and you're not scared if it would go down even further. The money that you put in, even if it goes down, it doesn't impact your life. At a certain point, the conversation should come up also that maybe it's a good idea to stack. Maybe it's a good idea to be able to buy when everyone else is scared. Because if there's one thing that I've seen in markets, they always reverse, they always bounce back, and once this entire cloud of uncertainty also is over, the good ones, they go back higher than where they were before. Now, if you followed my stories on 2008, what happened to certain there as well, we are in another one. You have an opportunity also, especially if you were not able to capitalize on 2008 on the drops after 2013, or if you were not able also to capitalize on the drops on 2020. I've said this over and over that markets move in cycles, that if it goes up, then there will be a certain point also where it drops massively, and as it drops massively, that will be your opportune time also to start to enter, to start to position and build yourself a base. I believe also though that you have to be very selective in the stocks that you purchase. It's not like when the market is bullish that majority of the stocks will go up. You have to be selective on who do you think will currently survive this entire economic season. Not just from a stock market perspective, but also from a business perspective. Who are the ones that will remain relevant after this is all said and done? Just a heads up though, since we have very, very high inflation this year, that actually means that the base is high this year. For next year, there's a bigger chance that inflation would be lower already because of the high base that we had this year. And that happened also a couple of years back. If you remember the videos that I made where there were new taxes that were implemented and then inflation started to go up. The next year after that, we saw inflation start to go down also because the base on the current year was higher. And I think that's what we will experience also for next year. At some point in 2022, there's a lot of fear, there's a lot of uncertainty, there's a lot of doubt, there's a lot of things going on in the macro that keep investors scared. However, in that portion where you're scared, it's those who are patient to know what they want to buy and to find out discounts from stocks that are amazing. Ayan guys, tingnan, tulog na siya. That's how nice this walker is. Mabilis siya makatulog. But anyways, that's where you get to find items or techniques or certain stocks that in bull markets are too expensive, but now you get to buy them at a discount. And that's what I want to share to all of you. Times like this will be something that you will tell your kids, your grandkids in the next few years that while things were scary, you were one of the few who took advantage of it. If you're asking, how do I determine what do I like? Always just go for the market leaders, and it's very, very easy to look for the market leaders. When interest rates go up, banks' margins become bigger. The risk though is that there might be lesser people also taking out loans, but that's why it's very, very important to go with the top ones. You also go with the bigger and larger conglomerates like Ayala Corporation as well, the ones that you trust, SM also, the ones that have staying power. Then you could also go for the ones with very, very large dividends. And if you notice it, and if you've been following my videos, what I've been saying has always been consistent, has always been the same. It never has changed because that's how it is. The principles, the rules, the styles, the rudiments in investing, they really don't change no matter what the scenario is. The stocks to be picked might change, but what you look for doesn't really change. The biggest advantage of Philippine stocks, at least in my opinion, is that there's lesser companies to choose from. And people may think that there's lesser companies to choose from, that becomes a disadvantage. But there's lesser companies to choose from also, that becomes an advantage, that it becomes very predictable what will stay, what those large funds would actually buy, what those mutual funds will start to position in when things are better. So there, I just wanted to say that in spite of the fear, in spite of it down, in spite of it having the potential that it may still go down, in spite of the things that are going wrong still in the economy, it's those who are taking advantage of opportunities that we have right now that will reap the benefits later on. Please always remember this, that the best time to plant is when you have the ability to wait it out until harvest comes in. And in the same way for investing, the best time to plant is not when it's massively up, when valuations are high, when things are so expensive, but the best time to stack is when everything's cheap, when everyone doesn't want to buy it, and you get to find gems, you get to find companies that are really, really good, but at very discounted prices. What am I doing? I'm stacking on companies that I believe in, companies that I know that have staying power, and I'm just gonna build a base on them. If they go down, I have cash, I'll add and build a larger base as well. And that's how it is. You are fueled by how much conviction you have over a certain asset class. Now, I'll say this again, that I've been doing this for over a decade now. They just come back. Good companies always come back. They always go back higher than where they were before. So I can wait it out. I'm 30 plus, almost 40. I have cash, streams of income that can also protect me should this drag in longer. So what I'm saying is, if you've done your financial planning right, you have cash, you'll see a lot of opportunity around. So if you stayed up until the end, like, share, subscribe. Check out more videos that I have about the stock market, and I do hope this video helps you trade well, trade strong, trade smart. See you all again soon, and God bless you all.